Mark,
Here.
Erica. Here. Jeremy.
Here.
Mike.
Here.
MC.
Here.
And Jeremy, or JJ.
Here. Please join me for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you, Father, that we have an opportunity to come together and conduct the business of the city. We pray, Lord, that it's conducted in a manner that brings glory to you and honor to you, Lord, and we pray that you protect the officers and firemen in our city. Forgive us where we fail you, Lord, in Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Next item is approval of the April 22nd council agenda. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by Jeremy. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by JJ. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Right. All opposed, like sign.
I'm sorry, I was going to discuss something on this.
Okay.
The time needs to be adjusted on this.
I got out late this afternoon that my template was wrong, and I corrected it.
So it's 6 o'clock.
Yes, and that was what was announced earlier. And that is what's on the calendar and the website.
April 27th. You said April 27th agenda? Am I missing something?
It says April 20, oh, I'm sorry, that should be today's agenda, May 27th.
Yes, there. I think you meant minutes below, but it should be May 27th.
Right.
So can we vote on that then? Just,
Anything else? Do I hear a motion to amend to include the May 27th correction? Got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second? Second by MC. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. The agenda is approved. Next item is the March and April minutes. I'd entertain a motion to approve both.
So
Got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second? Second by MC. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Those are approved. Next item is the, another mistake. That should be the April city financials. Do I hear a motion to approve the April city financials? Got a motion by MC to approve the April city financials. Do I hear a second?
second.
Second by Erica. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. Those are approved. Next item is the April water and sewer financials. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by MC. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by JJ. Any discussion?
Yes.
Okay.
On the statement of revenue and expenditures,
Yes.
$181,254.68.
Which,
Second page.
yes. We are, yes, there's, some of the things Bentonville Water, because of the leaks they've had and they're experiencing, we had to shut down, or they had to shut down the 48-inch line again. And Springdale Water's more expensive than theirs, so we made that transition and back. It was well coordinated, so there was really no significant loss of pressure.
Just temporary.
That was temporary for a couple of days, and then, but there's a number of things like that.
I think one of the things we discussed at the meeting that we had, in fact, we brought that up and discussed it. And, we requested to adjust the budget at some point, like that. If it's due to some of the reason, obviously we have more less staff or employee now that's going in. Other reason, which Mr. Mayor said that it's going to correct itself. There's some expenses now that are not being, that they all came now, and later on in the year, they're not going to be there, so.
Right.
In 6 months, I guess the next time you'll look at it as a concept.
One of the expenses that hit all at once was that water line extension. We paid $270,000 on the water line extension. That was, that was in the contract, but it hit all at once.
So we're gonna monitor it, if it doesn't, then I'm gonna request you
Right.
to adjust the budget to reflect.
We will.
What it should be, right?
But that's a number of the things that were some of the larger.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. You brought that up in your meeting, because that's quite a bit of negative, $181,000 is a number.
Yeah, but $270,000 was for that one bill. And that would be, that was in the budget, but it was, the budget's annual, and the income has not had the time to build to cover that yet, but it will. Is there any other questions? All in favor, say aye. All opposed, like sign. That is passed. The next item on the agenda is the fire department report.
One thing I really have, I started doing interviews this week, but should be absolutely job offer. Interview accepted. That's it.
Where are we at on the roof and all that?
Okay. Just in case.
Yeah, I can talk, I can do it now. We have filed suit, and as part of that, lawsuit, we are obliged to engage in mediation at the beginning. That's what the contract, states. So we made a demand for mediation. We're waiting for reply. The chief was filed 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I think last week, me and the mayor approved what she was gonna send.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I think she sent it out.
Yeah, so it's just been filed. There hasn't been answered though yet.
Anything else? Thank you. And the next one is the police report.
You have our numbers in front of you. Any questions on that? Our one vacant position, we're in the process of hiring a guy to fill it, and then hopefully we'll be fully staffed for longer than a week and a half. As long as done. But I'm hoping that's gonna work out, and go through the process now and getting all the paperwork in, so we can get this new gentleman hired in and moved in. But other than that, you guys have any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Next is the planning commission report.
Good evening. Nothing really new on the report from the work session. We have, where we had the under subdivision, we still have the Scissortail subdivision going on. We've also got 2 new items, PCD that's still being worked on. I guess it's not necessarily a new item, and then another subdivision for Trillium that we rezoned all that. So those are gonna be the things that are gonna be But, we had canceled last week's meeting due to the inclement weather, but again, everything that was on it was basically old business that either already been tabled or we've already talked about numerous times, so I don't think there's any, need to reschedule it. We were trying to reschedule it for this week, we really had a tough time trying to find dates and stuff. And it was the work session, so we're gonna probably proceed with just having a work session next week.
I have a question,
Yes, sir.
not pertaining to this, but it's
Okay.
planning. Man that lives right up here behind the, city hall,
Okay.
the Haney's,
Yeah.
what is being done about these easements?
What
He
about,
told me that there was a problem with the easements, and he had talked to planning about it. Expected it to come before the city council.
Is that the railroad easements or?
I don't know.
No, it's the two road easements that go across.
yeah, I mean, they built it up in the middle of the road, isn't it? I mean, yeah, that would be a problem.
Yeah, there's a street easement there too,
There's
from
two.
back in the day, there's a lot of streets that were never built here.
Yeah.
So,
We're in the process of,
That-
trying, yeah,
Yeah.
we're in the process of getting, yeah.
He is representing. the-
Yeah, I'm their attorney, so that's, not on behalf of the city, but I'm helping them, yeah, we're navigating, yeah.
thank
I mean, if something was gonna be done, to paperwork, to close it, fill out, nothing's been filled out by the way.
Okay.
It's been a while since I talked to him about it, so I was kind of confused.
He just asked me if it'd come before the council. I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah, no, I understand.
Thanks.
Anybody have anything else?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Cause I know people are listening at home, the PZB for Ford in 264.
Mhm.
Now, the public hearing is, do we have a date on that yet?
It's next week.
Public hearing's next week. Are they voting on this next week?
They can, I mean, it's a voting meeting where they're allowed to vote, yes.
But with the PZB, typically doesn't the planning kind of discuss work session and work it out, or
Yes, ma'am.
so?
And we have not looked at this PCD document yet. They have not seen it yet. So
So,
I would say it's not ready.
as of today, it's not ready, so we don't expect a vote, but a vote could happen.
Well, they're gonna vote to either table it, approve it, or deny it.
Okay, a vote for,
Yeah, you know what I mean, so.
but currently the planning commission doesn't even have anything, and they were supposed to have information at the work session that was
Yes,
canceled,
ma'am.
so
Yeah,
it doesn't
still-
sound like the
still
applicant
voting.
is ready.
Yeah,
Okay, I just wanted some clarification on that, okay,
no, I understand.
thank you.
Anything else? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks. April Water and Sewer Department report.
Mr. Will's not here, so I do my best to go through it. The water loss went down somewhat, not as much as we wanted, but it went down. They did fix a lot of leaks, as you can see at the bottom of the report. There's been quite a few leaks that's been fixed, and then some new one has been detected that they're working on it. And that is why as we suggested in a work session, that the whole comprehensive water system study that's gonna help with knowing what really the pressure is it causing the pipes to break? That's one of the reasons. And the other thing is gonna help as a side effect to the new water tower that we might put in. And also, if there is in future as the city grows, if you have a comprehensive water system in place, we can figure out if they wanna add, somebody came in, wanna add a 1,500 subdivision, or the cities where we're gonna be able to say, is our system capable of handling that or not? But, really, they're working hard fixing the leaks as they come in. Staffing, they're completely staffed right now. There's no shortage of staffing, which is a good thing to have. Anything you wanna add on about that water study to that?
On the water study?
Yeah.
Yes, I can. One of the things, I think you discussed at length, and it's later in the agenda, water master plan. This is very similar to what you would see like a streets master plan as well. You're planning for the future. You're looking to see what area is developable, what could that demand look like in the future. And we will, part of that project is building a computerized model of the system to see how it actually the system fluctuates and as we continue to develop. It'll allow us to identify areas that may need more, larger diameter lines to support the demand that's given in the future. It's basically a planning document. So when you have a developer come in and they want to install a subdivision or develop a subdivision in a certain location, we can look at that area based on the demand that they're projecting and see how that projects your overall system. From that point, we may be able to tell them, yes, you can build here, but we need you to change your 8-inch line to a 12-inch line, because if anybody develops beyond you, we've got to make sure that there's enough capacity through your development to accommodate any of those future growths that we may have. Because we don't want to go in and dig up something that someone just installed 5 years later, 10 years later. One of the things we'll also be looking at is, we keep talking about the water tower that we may need, that we will need. We are in discussions with Bentonville, and they have told us they will be notifying us at any time that they want to look at our water contract that expires in about 18 months. Part of that expiration, one of the things that they're planning to negotiate with us is a maximum demand that we can get from Bentonville. That's likely going to be in the form of a maximum daily or peak demand. And so when we talk about that peak demand, that's going to happen usually in the morning or in the evening when everybody gets up before work and school and comes home afterwards. So what that tells us is we've got to figure out a way to store water. How much water do we need to store? We need to base it based on our current uses today, also the potential growth in the future. Because as you build one of these projects, you want to make sure you accommodate what's needed today and at some point in the future, so you don't have to add a second thing 2 years down the road. But the best part of this is that computerized model at the end of the day. As people come in and they want to develop, we will be able to add those demands in those specific areas of town, and we will be able to really understand how does that impact your overall system. And you guys had the foresight several years ago to pass impact fees. That's exactly what those fees are for, the impact of those developments that they have in your current system. You're able to use those fees to upsize through a new subdivision or other parts of your town or city, such as a water tank or anything in those areas. But as you grow, we know we're going to have growing pains. It's going to stress your existing system. This is just a proactive approach to try to get in front of this so you don't have to wake up one day and say, guys, I'm sorry, you can't build here because we don't have capacity. That's really what we're trying to get in front of. We don't want to tell someone no for that potential growth in the future.
We talked about a water tower years ago.
It's actually written in your contract with Bentonville right now, but it's not required. It's basically a suggestion that says you need to be thinking about this at some point in the future. You will need to install this because there will be a point that your growth will impact our peak daily demands within the city of Bentonville, is what they will say is their demands at that point. And I think it's safe to say, based on the conversations I've recently had with them, we're to that point right now.
I have seen water towers that are huge round tanks with a deal that kind of expands when you let water per. Or I've seen the water actual tower. So what kind of we looking at?
That is actually up to you guys to decide. There are several options out there, and there's several price points depending on what type you're looking at. Each of those types of towers actually have other opportunities for use, such as a composite tank, which is a cylindrical bottom, concrete bottom with a tower of water that sits on top. You can actually store things within that area. We've seen in the office spaces, we've seen in the storage for generators, all types of it. It's up to you guys when it comes to that. Aesthetics plays a role in this where it stands. Ultimately, most of the people we work with, it comes down to cost at the end of the day.
Well, when will this deal come in? Will they check the pressure from the levee?
That's all part of
That'll be part of the model as well, because what we'll be taking.
So we haven't approved that yet.
That is correct. That is a part of this study.
Well, this is my 7th year on council. We've had this problem since before I started.
Mhm.
It's pathetic. Really. So, I mean, it's not your fault.
Well, it's not
It's
uncommon.
just, it's, we got down to 40 once. And now it's back up to 55.
Actually, it was up to 66,
60.
and
We're
before
back
it's
down to
back
55.
down.
Yeah, it's down to
So,
55.
That's why I think it's really, I suggest to do this study, because if we had done it a few years ago, perhaps we had not having as much problem as we fixing it, then there is other part that breaks. And I think it's, I honestly think there is too much pressure on the line, and that's why the seal breaks as our money. Well, in a subcommittee, I understand and I see better than what, we're trying to fix the problem, we don't want to put a Band-Aid on it now.
But it seems like all we do is get the cart before the horse.
But, yeah, that's why I'm hoping this time we really fix look at the issue, what exists, and back to the water study that we were saying, Daniel was bringing up. It really, I suggested highly to do that, because that's gonna help us in so many different ways, not only just not only the water loss, but it also help us with the mental rate that we're gonna have. If we don't have that, I don't know how it's gonna impact I don't know how it's gonna impact the rate they're gonna charge us when the contract comes to review. And also it gives us a better idea of what size tower we might need for our system. And then of course for future growth of the city. Water leak, believe me, Mike, it's on top of my list and I'm watching it really hard, but
Thank you.
I'm trying really hard to make sure we find out why is it keep having issues. Not just fixing it. Now the fixing is not the issue, they keep breaking more and more. I mean, we need to figure that out.
I have a question. Can I make sure I understood correctly? You said that Bentonville wants to look at our water contract in approximately 18 months?
That's
Is that what
correct.
you said?
Yes, your contract currently, I don't have it right in front of me, but if I remember correctly, it has the option for 2, I believe, 6-year renewals based on the current terms. Unless one party notifies the other, I believe within at least a year or 12 months of the expiration of the contract. I recently had some of these conversations with Bentonville, and they verbally told us they plan to notify us of this, and said it will likely be any time, and it's about 18 months out now. So
would we need like plans for the water tower by that time, or is this something like that we have to have up before that time?
no, I think this will be part of the negotiations at that point at that time.
Okay.
That they will not tell us we have to put a water tower up, I don't think. I think what they're going to say is we're going to limit you to a maximum daily peak demand of X. If you go over that, the price of your water consumption may go up. Now, I'm speculating here, we've not started those negotiations. But as an engineer, what that tells us, we need a water tower when we start trying to limit our peak demand, because we have to buffer that. You can envision at night, the tank fills up at low demand periods overnight, then at peak demands, we feed from the tank during the day, and we're not a burden on their system.
It kind of regulates what we draw for their system.
That's correct.
Yeah,
So,
that makes sense.
can we can pull at our peak times to figure out how much we're using, and then that information can go towards what kind of tower we need. Is that correct to say? Or can they tell us like our usage during the peak? Because if we get a water tower that doesn't even meet, if we approve something, say on the cheap end, and it doesn't even meet our demand on peak
Yes,
season.
no, I would not recommend you guys move forward with a water tower without starting that conversation with them.
Gotcha. So it's a little ways out
Yes,
then.
we do not want to put the cart before the horse.
Okay, that's what I was,
Yes.
okay, so we need to have that conversation in 18 months or maybe, or less with them,
I
with
would,
you guys.
I would anticipate those conversations to begin probably anytime in the next 3 to 6 months.
3 to 6 months, okay, thank you for for that.
And based on the amount of strain that we're creating for them and the amount of flow and a whole series of engineering criteria, it will be engineered for us. We're not just going out and getting some package tank or something that it'll be to the standards and the size that we need.
To include the developments that are not yet done, such as
Right.
the press.
It
and
will
one on
be
other side.
part of the criteria will be what he was talking about earlier, future growth potential and it's not just to get us by today, it's for, you build those things with the future in mind, just like we did the 24-inch sewer line. And the 12-inch water line as opposed to the minimum we needed for today. We added substantial additional growth potential there.
Okay, all right, thank you for that.
Okay. Next is your engineering report.
Stuff together real quick. Don't have a lot to report. I'll touch on a couple items back on a couple of our projects on the water and wastewater side. The NACA project is, like I said, we're nearing the finish line there. It's been in operation for a couple months now. I know you're all aware of the odor issues that we ran into early on. The odor control unit was commissioned on May 6th. It takes about 6 weeks for it to reach its full capacity of odor removal. The good news is, I know Will, they've been going out and checking that very routinely, and they're getting 0 readings on hydrogen sulfide out of that unit. One of the last things that we have to do, other than some ancillary items, is get the gas line in, and the gas company finally made it out today. They've had it on the schedule for the last several weeks, but then we're actually able to get out there today. We just have to plumb our generator in, and we can commission the generator, and we'll basically have everything in full operation.
That's that down here.
That is correct. That is correct.
Now, a generator, we've had issues with the generator down there before. We're gonna get a nice quiet one.
Is that where the landscaping is gonna be?
Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, the generator that, I'd have to go back and look, see how loud it is. It's not going to be as quiet as the pump. Again, this is something that's gonna operate where electricity goes out. Hopefully in a minute.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was misunderstanding. I was not thinking on that line of a generator. I was thinking like the pump generator. Sorry.
No, that is what that is for. So
Okay,
I
thank
think that
you.
would be a welcome sound to me at that point. We had talked about RDOT, our 112 relocation projects. The one on the northern side of town, they have postponed that bid opening, but all we can get is early 2026. I don't have a specific date on that yet, but we're still moving forward with getting our utilities out of the way there. That's probably, we've already talked about wholesale water agreement. And our Otter Creek lift station surge protection project, we're moving forward with that right now. We've signed contracts on that project. Perhaps like everything with water and sewer, projects. State aid overlay, you've got an item coming before you tonight, we'll go into more detail, but when we discuss some land acquisition, here there on the right, street, down the road, we've got a resolution in front of you there. There's no change on the traffic signal. They ordered their equipment, they're waiting on the equipment, got controls, pass arms, and the lights, so none of that's changed. Yes, sir, I'm gonna say late summer, time frame, early fall, just generally right now, so we're waiting on the equipment to come in.
Have we done easement acquisition that we need?
She's working on it, Cassie is working on it.
Well, that's done, that's what I understand that, she said that, that's your contact.
Yes, it's my understanding, has she not contacted?
She said she's working on it, but I haven't seen anything. So
Okay.
no.
She's requested several things from us over the last few weeks, exhibits, some additional aerials and all, so you
I
haven't
haven't
seen any of
seen
that? Okay. Because we provided her some additional information. So I know she's in the queue.
So if we are moving August, we can get that.
So we can't put it in until we get the easement started.
That is correct. That is correct.
I have a question. On the, RDOT Highway 112, Wallace Road, is that the completion date, 2027, or when they start?
That is the lead date, the bid date for the highway department for their portion of the road. So what that tells us is we need to have our utilities out of the way before their contractor begins. So that's what we're shooting for. That lead date on both of those sections have been kicked down the road 2 or 3 times.
2030 or 20 something?
Can't speak to that. I don't know what challenges they're running into that stuff for the most part.
Okay.
And then lastly, I wanted to touch on the Hillcrest subdivision, the drainage. I think all of you are fully aware of some of the challenges that we've had there. I want to go back a little bit to the beginning of the project. We did have several landowners that raised concern that there would be drainage issues in that area. The design did actually go through the planning commission, it was approved based on reduction actually in stormwater going across those properties. As things have moved forward, the final plat was issued to the original developer. In visiting with the contractor, I don't know, I've heard that we didn't inspect or we potentially could have turned the final plat over.
Then you can speak, and I'm sorry, I can't, it's too much for anybody.
I've heard that we may have, there we go, we got that now. I've heard that maybe we released the final plat too quick, we didn't check things. Going back, and I want to remind everybody, we did in fact, working with the city, go through and look at all the drainage structures, make sure there's no sediment in any of the piping, ponds, and all before final plat was established. Prior to that establishment, we did not, that I'm aware of, do any complaints about the stormwater prior to that time. Now, I'm not going back to how much rain we had or anything along those lines. Now, that being said, we had a lot of problems with that project, that contract. Being tracking out on Fort Lane, being traffic, in Brentwood, I mean, there were several things that was on the contractor about routinely. As soon as we received a report that there were challenges with issues with drainage going in the backyards of the neighboring property owners, we found out that the original developer had sold the property to a new owner and developer. What I can tell you, since that has happened, this new developer has been very proactive in everything he's worked on, to the point that we have seen him reach out to us prior to us reaching out to him after these rainfall events. Now, we have had some washouts in the street. We have had some issues. And I actually went back and received another video over the weekend from, I guess, rain either on Friday or Saturday. I can't remember. Saturday, we met with the contractor, our staff did with the city on Friday, and provided some guidance and maybe some things we could do to help. Based on what I've seen in the videos from early May to then, quantity of stormwater that was actually going down into the Brentwood ponds was reduced based on that video. Now, I don't know the timeline of the videos, that's all I can look at is those videos themselves. When the project is complete, I can tell you, we went back and looked at the original drainage plan, and there's about 4 acres draining into that area already, into that section of Brentwood subdivision. When the project is complete and the houses are built out, there'll be about 1 acre that drains into that subdivision. With our discussions with him at this point, his plan is to slow all of the lots that border that southern boundary of Brentwood, and slope those to the south to drain into their system, moving what was shown with approved drawings, and he has plans to place all of the drainage for the gutters, the homes, underground, and pipe those to the front. So I tell you this, they are working with us to try to resolve this. They've made several efforts to install additional silt fencing Waddles and all, still not, I think, where we want it, but it is, they are working toward that area. So with that, I can answer any questions.
Can I ask, okay, go ahead.
On, this master plan, water master plan, stormwater, does that include creeks and stuff also?
The water master plan is actually just for water lines,
Okay,
for
what about
potable water.
stormwater?
That is MS4, it's completely separate. You don't have a master plan for that per se, but you do have to manage your existing stormwater infrastructure.
Because I'm still concerned about this ditch, this creek that runs through here. And I understand part of that property is owned by individuals. But it's created, it keeps creating problems. We had almost a man drown at this intersection a year or so ago. I went by there the other day on the east side of that low water bridge where these little pipes are. I guess the city had dug to that. There's a big hole there.
There was always a hole there. That was.
Well, I mean, they dug the gravel up because it keeps washing in there.
Mhm.
We need to replace it with something to go over, and let that water go down through there. But, I mean, this is,
I think that's something that I had discussed with Mr. Mayor, and he has
That's
assured me
something
that
that we're
sometime
working on.
they're gonna fix that, that affects me more than anything else. Because,
it doesn't matter who it affects.
I know, I'm saying that it does affect me, but that's why I'm kind of not pushing it, because I don't wanna feel like I'm like, kind of pushing that. But really, it is affecting everybody that's in that area.
Yes.
But
It affects
I
everybody.
have some video of it, in fact, this weekend, I guess.
It's dangerous. And until we can get that cleaned out, all that dead limbs and everything else is gonna be blocking them little pipes. So, anyway.
So back to that design.
It's almost like common sense doesn't exist anymore. I'm done on that. Thank you.
And was that the issue that you were discussing about the subdivision? Was it the design issue or was it implementation issue?
It's my opinion, it's an implementation issue, that we're at a point from where this was originally approved. You've got your final design. It depends on the constructability of the lots, where they place their soil, how they place their soil, and if they're maintaining erosion control measures. This could be a challenge throughout construction. When you get different homeowners coming there building homes, we've got to make sure they allow water to free flow and actually direct it to the front of the lots instead of allowing it to go to the back of the lots. This is the problem we see routinely in any subdivision, that we have to ask for corrections a lot of times for when individual lots are being developed, if you will.
I had a question. You said that, so basically from the get-go, things were good, but then the prior owner moved a lot of non-packed down rocks, debris, dirt, and so that's kind of where all of the issues first started, correct? The fact that things were moved that shouldn't have been moved and they weren't packed down. Now,
Well, it's just,
channels created.
yeah, the placement of it is, and then what happens whenever you put a silt fence in, of course, the silt fence's job is to actually filter the water before it goes out on the adjoining property. That's the goal of it. But in these rainfall events, as the water can hit a silt fence, it can channelize that water and it can wash the fence out, wash underneath it, or in a low area, it can help concentrate the water flow. The fence could fall over, and you concentrate that flow over top of the fence. It can cause issues downstream as well. So that's why it's very important that whenever it rains, that they are monitoring this during the rainfall event and going out there and correcting these issues after the rainfall event as well.
So have they agreed to do that?
They are doing that.
Okay. And then, secondly, you said something about they're going to pipe, they're gonna do something with piping differently now, so it goes to their detention pond. What was that?
They were talking, what they've told us, their plan is to capture all the water from the roofs of the homes by gutters and then piping that underground and sending that to the south to the street. So that would effectively reduce the amount of water that was originally designed to go to the north. Even though they've cut it down from 4 acres to 1 acre, it could cut that down even further. That's one of the ideas that they're proposing.
So that would homes go up. So meanwhile, are they doing something, now the amount of sediment that comes down has reduced, because you can't, the big rocks and stuff
Mhm.
aren't coming down anymore, but, you know, red clay and everything else is, but are they gonna do anything more? Because one homeowner is really suffering the brunt, as you've probably seen
Yes.
in Brandon. And, you know, that, they didn't ask for that, and everything was fine, and she had grass before this. So are they going to do something more to protect her property before these homes go up? Because
That is our understanding. That is our understanding. And now, some of the things that they did, they were limited with time, last week when we met with them on Friday, with pending rains coming in. They were able to put some walls out, which probably weren't the best thing in that situation, but it's better
first
than
time that's
nothing.
flooded.
Yeah, it's better than nothing, so.
Yeah. Okay.
But the best news, I understand it's a challenge, but the best news I can tell you guys, the contractor is working with us. It's not a fight. He's asking, how can we help? What can we do? Do you have ideas?
I appreciate all your work today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Next one is the attorney's report.
Okay, good evening.
I think you're muted.
Am I muted?
Oh, yeah. There you
Is that better? Yeah. Okay, so, good evening. A couple of the items that I was going to talk about were I mentioned, of course, that's in the discussion about the roof of the fire department and the lawsuit that's been filed. Going to hit on, or put something out there for the work session. Going to send you all a draft I've received of a proposed lease for the coffee house. It needs some work, and we need to have a discussion on price and to see where you all stand. So, spoken with the mayor about it, and we're gonna have it sent out to y'all and have a discussion at the work session. So, coming up in the June work session, would like to have your thoughts on that issue. Also, in follow-up, I think we talked last month, Mike may have had the question, somebody had a question about what happened with some of the laws that we were talking about, proposed bills, in front of the legislature before the legislative session. Worked on a seminar, in Russellville. David, was there along with a lot of other, planners from, cities from across the state. And, there's a couple that are gonna be on our, a couple of the laws are gonna be on our radar for code changes, because they're gonna require us to change our ordinances in some parts. One of those is, it's Act 314, has to do with the elimination of what's called the extraterritorial jurisdiction. We have a planning area around the city, that is set by a map that we adopted some time back. And when there are houses or subdivisions that are built in the planning area, we do that planning review. The theory on that is that eventually, over time, when we come into the city, you want it up to a certain code. That's been eliminated. So by August 4th, we have to stop any jurisdiction over the planning area. We had long discussions about that. Looking for David, except out. We've had a lot of discussions about that over the last couple of months and what to do, because it is a real. Counties are concerned because they don't have the manpower to do that type of review. Cities are concerned because of planning. So I think that will be discussions that we continue to. We'll need to have, but we'll have to do a code change to eliminate our jurisdiction in planning on that area. Another one that will impact us is Act 313, which made accessory dwelling units a use by right in all residential zones. So accessory dwelling unit is like, think of like a pool house or small living quarters. it's it's a dwelling unit, so it has, you know, a bed and a bathroom, and it's heated. But generally they're smaller than the main primary residence on the lot. A lot of cities handle them differently. A lot of them you would have to come and ask for permission to do it. A lot of times it would be through like conditional use. So that's been eliminated, and it's now a use by right. There are some limitations in the law. It can't be more than 75% of the area of the primary residence, or 1,000 square feet, whichever is the lesser. And but it will have, there's some limitations on the planning fees that we can charge for those. There's also some limitations on the impact fee. Our impact fee for accessory dwelling units will be limited to $250. We'll have to change that as well. That one will require some code changes that we'll have to put in place. Another one is Act 591, which requires us to put in place legislation that would allow for third-party review of permits, inspections, those type of things. So third-party reviews and third-party inspections. It's a very complicated act. It has this kind of twisting and turning timetable, which we will have to be aware of. But basically, an applicant who applies, let's say, to do a large scale or subdivision or any type of process in which we're reviewing those, they have the option at some point within our review process to hire a disinterested third party to do the review. If they do that, they have to pay for it. So you're likely not to see this come up too many times, but it is something we will have to manage and be aware of. And in the case that there is somebody who says, I want to do a third-party review, we'll have to know what to do. We'll need to change our codes to allow for that. That's a complicated one.
So what could be the outcome of that?
Well, they have to follow, the reviewers have to be professional, accredited. They have to be, engineers, architects. They have to follow the law. They'll have to apply the regulations just like we would apply the regulations. The theory on which it was done was this idea that it was taking too long to review plans. And if you look at the timetable that's in this law, I mean, it's really looking at like a 60-day timetable, and we review, just like other cities, we review within that time period. We're not in danger, we're not in the habit of just letting projects languish. But at least that was a theory on which it was passed. What happens is after a short period of days, we have some obligation to communicate with the applicant to say whether we can perform the review or not. The applicant could have the option, we have to tell them about the option that they could get third-party review. They would have to pay for it. There's all these regulations about the type of it has to be a disinterested party and all this sort of stuff. But when it's ever used, it will make life complicated. So we have to build that into our code.
Does the city then have to go by this independent review?
Yes. Yeah. So it's very different, but in the end, and after going through it, I don't see it being used in too many instances. Because again, they'll have to pay for it, and it's not going to be cheap.
I don't see it changing much either, because we follow state code. And they're gonna have to follow state codes.
They have to follow the fire code, the electrical code, all those codes will have to, but they'll also apply our ordinances. So, it could, and there's mechanisms of review on it. It gets pretty complicated, but we'll have to build that one in. Two last ones are pretty short. One may be of interest to us at 935. It has to do with packaged sewer plants, so step systems. And it says that if there is a municipal system within 5 miles of the area that wants to put in a packaged sewer plant, so if South County, say, is within 5 miles, they have to really demonstrate a heightened need for the packaged plant, and that is financially unfeasible to go to the municipal system. And I think this is an effort from AEQ, Department of Health, I'm not sure, but to really not have those systems out there. So that might be interesting. I know there have been some times when package plants, the ones in Lowell, for example, when the city had to take those over, they ran into issues just like we ran into issues with the step system over the years. So that's one that we've had our eye on. The last one is at 595. It allowed for, it's permissive, it allows for cities to do what's called an administrative rezoning, where you don't have to go through the notice procedures. It can be, rezonings can be approved administratively. It has to be done pursuant to the future land use plan. I'm not sure how much that's going to be used. I've been talking with folks. I've seen a lot of hesitancy in doing that. There may be some isolated or narrow times where that might make sense. Like, let's say you had an overlay district and you envisioned it being commercial along a new highway that was built, and so you wanted to give property owners the ability to rezone that to commercial and not have to go through a whole bunch of processes. Maybe you could do set up a regime to do administrative rezonings, but that is now out there in the code. It's permissive, so we don't have to do anything on that. But that's just one of the items that's there. So that was 6 or 7, 5 or 6. But a good 4 of those we will have to act on over the next couple of months. Be working with Dave on that. Any questions for me? Thanks.
Thank you. Next is clerk's report.
I would like to bring before the council at the next work session a couple of resolutions and ordinances that I would like to have looked at. I'd like to look at the liquor tax. I spoke to Justin about this before. It's really not collecting maybe $30 from each business every month, so it's not collecting a substantial amount of money, and they're not paying on time either. So I'm having to go out and knock on doors and make sure that we collect this $30 every month from these businesses. So I think we really need to reevaluate that, if it's a necessity, if it's something that we legally have to charge. I'm not sure, Justin, if that's something that we have to, or is that just a city ordinance that we chose to charge these businesses 4% for a liquor tax?
It was a city ordinance.
I think it's more of a,
about 10 years ago, right, Chief, around that time?
2017 is when it was passed.
Yeah.
And it's kind of more of a hassle than it is anything else at this point. I'd also like to bring up EFT payments as well and get that updated so we can make payments online to our utilities, and that way we can eliminate this time frame that we're having at the post office with delayed payments. Our fixed asset list needs to be looked at as well. And do we have an update on our franchise tax from businesses? I know you had talked about it a couple months ago. Do we have an update from businesses where they're not paying that 4%, they're paying the minimal that you were gonna look at and try to raise that rate?
You provided us with 3 of the ordinances, and we weren't ready to move with everything else, so those 3 kind of, I've still got them in the drawer
Okay.
on the franchise fees.
Yeah.
I will, I'll make note of that and get an update for the next
Thank you.
work session on that. I'll be looking at that.
Thank you.
Did we not already pass something to allow them to use the electronic payment system?
It was brought before, but I don't think it ever passed.
I know it was brought up a couple of times, and I thought we had brought one before,
But I don't know if it was.
I thought we passed one.
Runs together sometimes for me, but I recall there is a Kim, I may be mistaken, but 5, 6 years ago, did we do an EFT policy?
Yes, but it needs to be updated for the municipal league's new EFT policy.
Okay.
So I just wanna update that, so we're on current with that new policy fiscally.
We can take a look at that.
Thank you.
I remember we did something, but
Yeah, it's outdated. I just wanna update it.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item is the mayor's report. This year's state legislative general assembly was very troubling for cities and counties across Arkansas with the zoning bills that were introduced to greatly limited the or eliminated property rights and allowed detrimental non-compatible uses in such proximity as to create significant reductions in property values for decades. Other bills would have eliminated permitting and building inspections except for the final inspection for CLO approval. This would have caused serious reduction in quality as minimum standards and building codes would be rendered meaningless. These bills were meant to promote affordable housing by reducing property and production costs through elimination of city safety, regulatory, and design control authority. On a legislator's telephone town hall meeting, he said that if city officials continue to deny residential compliant zoning based on density, they will bring these bills back and work to pass them next time. The state legislature had a myopic focus on cities, which I believe are just a drop in the bucket when it comes to an actual solution to the affordable housing crisis. Had all of the bills passed, our citizens' planning and regulatory protections would have been eliminated with little consequence to the greater impact of basic property and material costs on housing affordability. In late August, we will host an affordable housing summit. State and national legislators, as well as Northwest Arkansas mayors and county judges will be invited. The Municipal League will be sponsoring the summit with us and providing lunch. There will also be representatives from Northwest Arkansas Regional Planning, local developers, and organizations that work for affordable housing initiatives. This summit is not a meeting to point fingers, attribute blame to, or find solutions. Legislators, counties, cities, and developers may all cite the need for affordable housing, but they all see different obstacles. While everyone points fingers in different directions, nothing is being solved. To solve the affordable housing crisis, the first step is determining actual obstacles everyone can agree on. Only then will everyone work together on a solution that can solve the problem without eliminating safety, quality, and property rights for Arkansas's residents. Finding these obstacles is the goal of this summit. Thank you. It'll be in late August. Next item is the public comments. Do we have anyone?
I've got a comment real quick. I think it would be great if we got some kind of, maybe chief, since you're like the deputized to be the audio visual guy here, if we could get some kind of a monitor or something that's facing us, so that, like, for example, when Mark or Erica is talking, I can hear them, because what ends up happening is the sound's coming from there and it bounces, and I can't really hear people at that end of the table very well. So it's kind of like, this musician thing, you have, like a stage monitor basically for us. Just a thought.
Well, I like to.
It will cost money.
Table spacing.
Well, maybe we could kind of turn the tables a little bit too.
Kind of like a V type shape.
Yeah, kind of like what we have.
We can
before.
try it out.
Maybe not the whole way we do the working session,
Yeah.
partially.
We can try that.
But we should try it.
Use your mobile, we can do that.
And I think these microphones need to be basically in your mouth for you to.
Yes.
Yeah, right now I just heard you better than I've heard anybody all night.
It's because we're looking at each other.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
That was my public
the
comment.
microphone too, but this thing is HVAC, so noisy too.
Yeah, it is.
I don't know, there's probably, I don't know if there's anything that could be done, probably not. set it low coming into the meeting.
And then turn
And
it
then
up a
turn
little
it
so
up
it
so
don't
that
come on as
won't so
often.
much, yeah.
We can look at
That's
that.
something good for you.
All right. Any other public comments? Next item on the agenda is the resolution, removing some people, no business. I do have, updates, but they were already addressed. The engineer mentioned the lift station, so. And the next item is the resolution removing certain property and equipment from the fixed asset records maintained, by the city, and these are concerning the fire department, equipment. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by,
Like everyone.
yeah, pretty much. I got a motion by Mike. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Okay, got a second from JJ. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. What is that number?
2025-26.
Next item is a resolution to authorize the mayor into a contract for utility financial solutions to form a water and sewer rate study. Do I hear a motion to approve? So moved. Got a motion from JJ and a second from MC. Any discussion?
I have one question, quickly. Now this would be, basically the rates, like our flat fee would kind of go away, it would be based on how many residents per household, am I understanding that correctly? Yeah, but based on, yes.
Yes.
Obviously, there's more residents, there's more usage. so
Usually, yes.
Yes, usage.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
We have I'm not sure how many, but I know we have a few residents that bought their house, have a swimming pool, and it's all paid, it all goes through one meter. Do they have to pay for another meter, or they grandfathered in with another meter? How's this gonna be to separate sprinkler systems and swimming
It won't separate them unless they do put another meter in
at their own cost?
at their own cost.
Just one check, because I go to church with someone, and I want to be able to tell them,
Right.
Merry Christmas.
Anything else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign, and that one did pass. Next item is resolution authorizing the, work order number 14 for the water system master plan. Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion by JJ, second by MC. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That's approved. That's number 28. Next item is resolution to waive competitive bids and authorize Diamond Steed to do the drainage repairs on Fields Lane. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by Jeremy. Do I hear a second? Second by JJ. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That did pass. That's number 29. Next item is the resolution to approve final payment to the Creeks Golf Course. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by Mark. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by MC. Is there any discussion?
On this resolution, it says resolution 2023 dash, should that be 25?
That should be 25, yes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That one passed. That is 2025-30.
Who made that motion and seconded?
Do what?
Mark,
I mean,
Mark made the motion, MC seconded. Next item is a resolution to approve Kim Eagle Planning Commission, do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion, was that JJ? Motion by JJ, do I have your second?
Second.
Second by Mike. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That did pass. Next item is a resolution to authorize the execution of a deed to transfer property on Bright Street, on 4 Bright Street, and the alignment with the city yard. Do I hear a motion to approve? Got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second?
I'll recuse myself.
Okay, and that's noted. MC did recuse himself. Did you second that? Erica seconded it. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. That passed. And next, we have an ordinance to change our meeting nights to 6 p.m. and make them here officially. Do I hear a motion to suspend the rules, place this on third and final reading by title only?
So moved.
Got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second? Second by Jeremy. Roll call.
Erica,
Yes.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
MC,
Yes.
JJ,
Yes.
Mark.
Yes.
Do I hear a motion to approve? Oh, wait, we got to do the reading first.
10.
Ordinance number 2025-10, City of Cave Springs, Benton County, Arkansas. Ordinance to amend section 30.03A, regular meetings, and section 30.05B, public hearings, meetings, work sessions of the City of Cave Springs Municipal Code, declaring an emergency for other purposes.
Do I hear a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion by JJ, do I hear a second? Second by Jeremy. Any discussion?
We're about to be out of here by 7:15 because of these guys.
Roll call.
Jeremy,
Yes.
Mike,
Yes.
MC,
Yes.
JJ,
Yep.
Mark,
Yes.
Erica.
Yes.
That was approved, and do I hear a motion to approve the emergency clause? Got a motion by MC, second by JJ. Roll call.
Mike,
Yes.
MC,
Yes.
JJ,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Erica,
Yes.
Jeremy.
Yes.
Any final comments or motion to adjourn?
No, I have some things I want to bring up.
Okay.
One is the last meeting, we had 2 members that were concerned about the money we were spending and being in the hole. We just approved another $203,000. Second, that stuff on Main Street's still there. I've been told for the last month and a half, that was gonna be fixed. I went down there the other day, and some of you just pull out by hand. Second, or third, is that building, 2 buildings. One is supposed to be redone. I haven't seen any work done on it, of course, I don't own it, but where what was the lady's name that lived that place next to it?
Mary Claire.
Mary Claire, that place is falling in. Somebody's gonna get hurt. There used to be a white table. Now, we had ULI come here and talk to us about how important it was to do this building and get the city beautified and all this, and we've got that eyesore sitting right over there.
Can I make a comment, what you commented about too concerned with the financial aspects? I changed my mind after talking with Adam. Is Adam here at the work session? I talked to Adam about it. Is that from engineering?
Drew was here.
Drew, oh, okay. Whoever was here from engineering, I talked to him about it, and then Will was beside, and I told him my concerns, and they're like, well, what questions do you have? And my questions were actually answered, talking to them one-on-one. That is the only reason I voted yes.
About which place?
About, you said that we voted for another 200 and some thousand, and you had made
That's
a
what they
comment.
add up to.
Yes, you had made a comment that I believe it was Mark and I were concerned about money. I'm speaking on my behalf. I wish it would have been, you would have asked when we voted on it, that I personally talked to the engineer that was here and Will about the money and how their opinions on it. So with that conversation, I voted yes, because I thought it was in the best interest of the city.
Well, I voted for yes on them too.
Well, I know, but you made a statement,
But
so
I-
and that involved me.
I'm still concerned about the amount of money.
Oh, I
We're in
agree,
the red in
but
some areas already.
Yeah, that's
Can you
what
all roll
I
out?
we're gonna do a budget refresh soon, right?
Right, I've been working on that, and it will be in front of y'all at the work session, if not before.
And that's the thing, guys, is that there's an order of meetings for a reason. I think if you have things that you want to talk about, let's add them to the agenda, and let's speak about, you know what I mean? Instead of just saying, all right, it's the end of the meeting, now I'm gonna do my little, get up on my soapbox. I just think, to respect everybody's time, let's add it to the agenda at the beginning of the meeting, and not just kind of say, here's my list of all the grievances I have with the city at the end. You know what I'm saying, Mike? It just feels unfair to just kind of say, Mayor, here's 6 things that I'm mad about, and we're not putting them on the agenda or anything. Like, let's talk about them in the work session, on the agenda. You understand what I'm saying?
I agree with what you said. Okay.
Anything
I
else?
just like when I'm being told something's gonna be done, that it's done.
Well, sure, but, I mean, there are lots of logistical issues in the real world that just, I don't know that it doesn't even air out grievances.
When it takes a month, there's a problem. Yep.
I'm gonna move to adjourn.
I got a motion to
Anybody
adjourn.
else have
Any
any
more
more
seconds?
Second.
Thank you all.
I'll say 6 seconds.